All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the June 9th Commissioner Conference. I'd like to start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag
of the
United States of America,
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everybody. Karen, any unfinished business or correspondence?
I have nothing.
Excellent. All right, first order of business, looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting dated May 26, 2020 as presented.
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullers?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Pacek?
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, looking for a motion to approve invoices in the amount of $485,278.08 for the period May 27th through June 9th, 2020.
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullers?
Yes.
Mr. Pacek?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, looking for a motion to approve pending invoices in the amount of $562,178.10.
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullers?
Yes.
Mr. Pacek?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, looking for a motion that the actual gross payroll in the amount of $250,457.07 be approved for payment for the period May 10th through May 23rd, 2020.
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullers? Mr.
Yes.
Pacek?
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, looking for a motion that the tentative gross payroll in the amount of $251,000 be approved for payment for the period May 24th through June 6th, 2020.
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullers?
Yes.
Mr. Pacek?
Yes.
Next on the agenda, looking for a motion exonerating the county portion of the 2019 taxes for the Jefferson County Housing Authority.
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullers? Mr. Pacek?
Yeah.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, looking for a motion extending the declaration of disaster emergency for another 30 days for Jefferson County.
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I just kind of mentioned the reason for that is for our response with the COVID-19 situation. While things have pretty much plateaued, we're still working on a lot of the planning and preparedness for the potential of a second wave in the fall and prepare for the potential for mass vaccination sites. So anyone that wants to be vaccinated, once it becomes available, will have an opportunity to do that, even if they don't have a healthcare professional or not. We're still getting supplies of PPE in, stockpiling it to be prepared for that potential second wave, and just continuing our response. We had, prior to May 30th, we were at 8 cases within the county. That has increased to 16. It's doubled here, with 13 that have been confirmed positives and 3 probable, with 608 negative tests being done, or 608 other tests that come back negative. I just want to also add that you're going to see those numbers continue to go up because the state has entered into agreements with different organizations such as Walmart, CVS, Quest Diagnostics, to do drive-through testing clinics throughout the area. I know they just did one this past week in Clarion. I believe it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday that they're doing it for a couple-hour period each day. So as more people want to be tested, the ones that are being tested that find the antibodies as well, you're going to see those as probable cases listed. So the numbers are going to increase somewhat, but we want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to have treatment and be ready to go when that time comes. And as of yesterday, there are no cases in any of our long-term care facility, nursing homes, assisted living. So that's good news there. So the measures that we've taken from the start are working very well on that end. Still concerned with some of the cases spiking and looking at the contact tracing to make sure that it's not a community spread. We're pretty confident in where we're seeing some of them spikes right now, and what has occurred there. So everybody just needs to still be cautious. We want everyone to enjoy the summer, whatever, but it's still here, whether you believe it or not. It is something that we need to be concerned of until a vaccination is readily available.
This 30-day extension, do you, just based on what we're seeing, another 30-day extension? I mean, is this 30 days is the most we can go in a disaster declaration? What is the significance of 30 days?
That is what I've always been instructed. It's every 30 days. Now, I have seen that the governor extended the state declaration for 90 days, and I've seen some municipalities extend it indefinitely. So I don't know that you have to stick with that hard, fast rule. I know the 7-day initial, after you have the initial at 7 days, then you have to extend it at least the first 30-day period after that. So this will be actually the third extension of it. So I don't think it's out of line to go 90 days or however long you want to go.
Okay.
So Tracy, with the spike in the numbers,
Mhm.
doubling in the last 2 weeks, some concern from our citizens is our county, what's the potential of our county going back to the red phase?
Well, it's definitely being monitored. There's a dashboard out there that's available to anyone that wants to see it from the Department of Health's website that shows the metrics for that, 50 and 100,000 cases, so for how that was working out. So they're definitely monitoring that. And if it spikes too much, it could have that potential to go back into yellow, into a yellow phase. And that's something we don't want to happen, because that'll cripple the economy as well as put everybody, else at risk. So we just want everybody to be cautious and, take them extra steps. And I know where the masking, we've heard complaints where the masking, people's criticizing some people for wearing masks still and whatever. We're just asking everybody to be polite, be calm, respect each other's wishes, and move forward from that point. So, and that goes with everything. That and with the civil unrest that's in the country today, we just ask everybody to respect each other and move forward. So we don't have the problems here as other areas do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Call for a vote, right?
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yeah.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, looking to enter into an agreement with Schrock Contracting to provide lead-based paint abatement services for the Jefferson County Housing Rehabilitation Program.
Second?
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes. According to HUD regulations, any home that was constructed before 1978 and being assisted through the Jefferson County Housing Rehabilitation Program must be tested for lead-based paint. And if lead-based paint is discovered in the home and the amount of assistance being provided through the Housing Rehabilitation Program is greater than $25,000, all lead-based paint must be abated either through the removal or encapsulation of the building components that contain the lead-based paint. And Department of Development solicits proposals for lead-based paint abatement services, and after reviewing the proposals, we recommend entering into an agreement with Schrock Contracting to provide lead-based paint abatement services.
Thank you, Bill. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, looking for a motion to appoint David Wrights to the position of Acting Director for the Veterans Affairs Office.
Second?
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Motion carries. A couple of announcements. The next commissioner meeting is June 23rd, 2020 at 10:30 a.m. at Jefferson Place, followed by the jail board meeting, June 23rd, 2020 at 12 p.m. at Jefferson Place. Just a reminder, if you haven't already completed your census survey, please do so. Next, I would like to open the floor to public comments.
We have another announcement Karen handed out
I'm
separately.
sorry, I missed that.
That's good.
Yeah, they didn't get it.
We'll give you that second.
There it is. All right. One more announcement before I open back up to public comments. Throughout the next few weeks, Jefferson County, on behalf of the Borough of Corsica and the Brookville Municipal Authority, will be conducting a survey of residents living in the Water Street area of the Borough of Corsica. This survey is being conducted to obtain information to determine if the borough will be eligible to apply for grant funds to undertake a water line replacement project in this section of the borough. All information received from the survey will be kept strictly confidential. Any questions should be directed to the Jefferson County Department of Development, 814-849-3047. That's 814-849-3047. Okay, any other announcements before we open it up to public comments?
Yeah, I just want to mention about the potential for severe weather tomorrow. There is a potential right now, and Jefferson County is included in it for severe storms Wednesday afternoon and evening. Looking at the potential for isolated tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. So just want to make sure everybody's aware of that, be cautious, and we'll continue to put out more guidance as we get it. So.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. Be safe, everybody. All right. Any other announcements? You have an announcement?
Oh, I thought you had said public discussion, excuse me, I'll wait.
All right, guess there are no public announcements. Go ahead.
I have a question, as a veteran, particularly considering all the feedback I've heard from fellow veterans over the last week or so. Do you have any comment on the recent vacancy in the Director of Veterans Affairs office? Any of you?
She resigned. That's my comment.
Yeah, I mean, all the information that I have had concerning the Veterans Affairs Director has been second and third hand. I haven't gotten anything directly from a veteran, from anyone in the Veterans Affairs office or anybody else. It's all been second and third hand, people telling me what's on Facebook, so I really don't have knowledge of
And that's the reason I asked the question.
Yeah,
so,
I
okay.
don't know what fires are out there. I don't.
But we're moving forward, that's the important part. So Dave Wrights is retired Marine, I believe. And he's gonna be the interim director until we go through the process, which has been advertised.
I don't see any comments here or on the phone, and I was expecting some.
I have them. Oh, you ready for me?
Well, I guess we'll go to you, Jim.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So on behalf of JCDC Council, we have allocated $50,000 of resources to allow for small businesses less than 10 employees affected by COVID to apply for a $2,000 loan, low interest loan at 1%. They just need to prove that they've been in business for 2 years, no collateral. And we've had some inquiries already. I'm about to book one. So we want to make sure this only is good through June 30th. So if anybody's out there and they feel they could use a $2,000 low interest loan, please get a hold of me. It's out with the chambers, it's out with North Central. We've got it out, but I want to make sure we got it to the commissioners meeting so we could get it noted in the paper that please get a hold of me, because as of June 30th, it's no longer going to be effective, or we will no longer take applications. All they need is an application, prove they've been in business for 2 years, and then they can come see me and we can help them out. And like I said, some people have already inquired that they'd be interested in it. So thank you.
This is on your county website.
It's on, it's not on our county website. We could put it on the county website, but it's on JCDC in North Central. So. That we can have Paul put it on the county website if you want. So if there's any questions,
Is there specifics on what they gotta use that one?
no. Nope. We just have to prove they've been in business 2 years and less than 10 employees. Self-employed, other than it cannot be a nonprofit. Nonprofits do not, we're not qualified. We're not doing that. So hair salons, whatever that small business might be, independent contractors, whatever. So anyways, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay. Continuing public comments. Ben, would you like, go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, I got a couple questions.
Sure.
Number one, I listened to the conversation that you had with my wife on the phone. It was very disrespectful. I would never talk to another man's wife in the manner that you talk to her.
Okay, so.
My question is, are you sorry? Or what is your ordeal?
So, if you listen to the whole thing, I paid her a lot of respect for everything she's done, and I told her.
I think
we're
you
not
paid her
arguing.
respect because you need her for a job. That's what I think.
That's your opinion, but
That's what you told me standing out here. It was my opinion.
that's right.
It is
it's
my
your
opinion.
That's fine.
Thank you for answering that question. Jack,
Yes, sir.
my question for you is, why are you harassing my wife at 1 a.m. in the morning?
Can you elaborate on that?
Your Facebook message.
What was my Facebook message?
I can't tell you verbatim right now, but I can get it. If anybody in here would like to see it. You harassing my wife at 12:59 a.m. Friday morning.
So, I can
Please do elaborate.
I saw some things on there that you attached my name to and some other.
Absolutely. I put my phone number out there for you to call me so we could have this conversation, and you wouldn't do so, so you messaged her.
Wait, I didn't see that.
You see what?
A phone number or anything like that.
I put my phone number on everything. I'm sorry, can you elaborate on what I said?
I cannot.
Okay.
I don't
So you still haven't answered my question why you're harassing my wife at 1 a.m. in the morning.
What was I harassing her with? That's what I want to know.
Why are you messaging her, period, at 1 o'clock in the morning? Is that your job as a commissioner?
I was trying to defend myself.
Defend yourself? How? That's not defending yourself. That's harassing.
What did I harass her with? What did I say?
Why are you messaging her to begin with? That's my point. I'll find it if you need it.
Okay, it was,
I mean, if you know it off the top of your head, sure.
it was something like, please stop, you know better. Or,
Absolutely not. I can tell you that.
Or please, I don't have my phone with me either.
I got it right here.
So you said you didn't have it, but you do have it.
Yeah, I do have it right here now. I found it.
Okay,
So-
all right.
Shame on you. I know you know better.
Yeah.
That's harassment to my wife.
It sure is.
It sure is.
So it's
So you admit that it's harassment and step down from your job.
It's okay for you to do what you're doing. but
What did I
it's okay
do?
For a man to defend himself?
What did I do?
What have you?
I'm not the one that did anything. He's the one arresting my
I'm not the
wife.
one that talks on Facebook with the muscles that everybody uses and tells all
What?
this stuff that is not true.
What is not
There's a
true?
lot
What
of
was said on Facebook?
disrespectful Things that are not true on Facebook.
What was said on Facebook that was not true? Answer that question. I want to know specifically what was said on Facebook that was not true.
There's been accusations.
What was the accusation?
But to Mr.
What was the
Madison,
accusation?
There's been accusations. I've talked to different.
What was the
people.
accusation?
Listen, don't.
I'm
commit-
asking the question, what was the accusation?
Listen, I'm not on Facebook.
I'll be the hard one to stand here and ask the hard questions. I want to know what the accusation was, because this is a pressing, there's 40 vets
Hey, Ben,
standing down here.
Ben,
Sound like a bully.
Ben, can you tell me why Krupa Steel used the county Facebook page to complain about the commissioners
She-
without,
No, she did not.
oh, she didn't?
She did not.
Okay, who used that then? Who used the
It was on
County
her,
Veterans
it was on
Affairs?
her personal Facebook page.
That is not true.
Yes,
Would you
it
like to see a
was.
screenshot? I'm not gonna entertain this, so anything else? Ben?
You're harassing my wife.
I
Yeah,
am not harassing your wife.
yeah, absolutely. Okay,
I'm not
my next
harassing
question
your wife.
is,
I asked her to please stop.
my next
Please
question,
stop is what I asked, is please stop.
who
That's
asked?
all I asked, is please just stop dragging my name through the mud, Ben. Please.
Then leave my wife alone.
Leave me alone. Just leave me alone.
Leave my wife
Just
alone.
ask- That's all I ask, please.
Okay, my
You
next
know
question-
better. You know, but no.
My next question is her last individual that was in here helping her, I forget what her name was. It was a female. Videotaped with her phone a recording that was left from a veteran on the phone in there. And she put that all over Facebook, and she was allowed to be resigned. That's clearly a violation. If I called in here and left a message with personal information on it, I wouldn't want my stuff on Facebook either. So here, I mean, what foot do you want to stand on here, gentlemen?
Your wife resigned.
Well, from what I heard yesterday, some of you guys were going around saying that you fired her now. So
No.
did she resign or was she fired?
So, see, this is the problem. There's a lot of stories out there, Ben, that are not true. They are not true.
Well,
And that's
I got
why
proof
we
of one of you
asked for-
harassing my wife at 1 o'clock in the morning.
That's why we,
Call me a bully.
that's why we asked
I call
for
you a bully.
several of you guys to come upstairs and talk about this stuff. That's the reason we extended that offer. And
Well, then
Russ
let's
Schweitzer
get
will
all the
tell
other
you.
veterans up here and let's all have this conversation with the other 40 vets.
Sure, I'm good.
Would all the veterans please come up here to the office? I'm sure that they have a lot more questions as well.
Come on.
Absolutely. Let's sit here for 15 minutes. Can we adjourn for 15 minutes until the rest of the veteran community comes up here?
Now, this isn't your meeting, Ben. So,
I'll tell you what. You know,
no,
I had-
let me-
I had a lot
Ben,
of
this is
respect
not
for
your
you.
floor, Ben.
I don't care right
Ben,
now.
Ben, this is not your floor. So, Krupa Steele, I think she
I
did a
would get a
wonderful
veterans
job
come up
as
here.
our Veterans Affairs coordinator. She really did. I supported her whenever we interviewed. I couldn't believe the thoroughness that she had when she came into the interview room. She had books and books of what she was gonna do for our veterans, and I believe she did that. I know she did that, and her service to our veterans when she was in the service was exemplary. She had a job that most people can't do. I don't know what's private and public, but everyone that knows Krupa knows her service. I know she was struggling.
She was struggling for 10 weeks because you wouldn't put somebody in there to help her?
Well, hang on a second. I checked you can check with your wife every week during COVID-19. I checked on your wife and checked on our veterans to make sure that they were getting the services that they needed because of the COVID-19, because they were veterans and they were more vulnerable than our regular population. And
What did you do for this chick?
And we were going through a stressful time. So I checked with her. What do you need? Do you need any help? And we were all going through stress, and she said, yeah, I'm managing, I'm doing everything. And the next thing I know, a hornet's nest went off on like, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, where she said, I haven't had a director for 10 weeks, or an assistant for 10 weeks.
And my understanding was she asked you gentlemen
It's not
for
your floor,
weeks.
Ben. It's not your flat floor, Ben. So I asked, is the second that came through, what are we gonna do about it? And we put the wheels in motion. The next thing I know, there was a Facebook post. The next thing I know, she resigned. So I'm not sure what we were supposed to do with that. I really don't. I was
Should've
really
hired
supporting
somebody.
her and trying to help her, and the next thing I know, we're getting blasted on Facebook, and she resigned. What are we supposed to do with that?
Harass her at 1 o'clock in the morning, I guess.
Harass her at 1 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
I'm praying for Krupa, I'm praying for your family.
That's great.
I
I
really
hope some of
am.
these other veterans have something to
Yeah,
say.
come on in, guys. We wanna listen, we wanna solve your problems. I mean, what do you need for the Veterans Affairs Coordinator? Yes, sir.
My name's Kenneth Larson. I'm a Marine.
Hey, Ken.
All right.
Kenneth, sorry.
I've seen all the stuff that you posted on Krupa's page, and I've also heard the message that you left for her, and that was very disrespectful. You've been very disrespectful to the veterans of this county, and I believe, as Mr. Steele said, you should step down. I'm very disappointed from all of you as county commissioners. You're not taking any account for our veterans in our county. When this is the third, since I've been in the county, third veteran rep we've lost because of foolishness from your organization. That's all I got to say. All of you, step down, find somebody else to take your
Okay,
job.
so hold, please. So if you know the second gentleman that was here,
Mhm.
he left for a we gave him time to get his issues resolved, and he elected not to do that.
He was useless. He was useless to the veterans of the county.
But that's your opinion. There was other veterans that loved him to death because he went above and beyond, just like Krupa did with certain people. She helped people. Listen, I can tell you, there's people that liked some of them and didn't like the others.
When you've got somebody in here that's doing their job, that's getting it done, and then you take one of your buddies and you put it in the position, and he tries to take that job from that lady or that other person.
Isn't he family? Can you answer that question? Is he your nephew?
Honestly,
Dave, is he your nephew?
I'm sorry. I never knew Dave.
Well, that's not what he told me through conversation. He told me you guys are buddies, man.
Well, hey, hang on. So
and that's cronyism.
this is what I want. This is what I would like. So there's a lot of baggage out there that's behind us right now, and it's not behind us. It's not at all. We're bringing it up to the forefront. So what I want more than anything is a Veterans Affairs Director that can serve our veterans to the level that they deserve. Our
We had
governments
one.
and governments, but she resigned.
Why did she resign, Jack?
I don't know.
You know why she resigned. You treated her like shit the whole time she was here. You and Herbie both treated her like shit the whole time she was here.
Oh,
That's not true.
I don't. I believe it.
So,
absolutely
oh,
It's 100%
That's
true.
fine, man.
all right, even if we say that's fact, I
My
don't
wife
know
could
if it
have
is or
tears
not.
because of you.
But what do you guys need most of all? You want a Veterans Affairs Director?
We want a Veterans Affairs Director that doesn't answer to the three of you. We want a Veterans Affairs Officer in here who actually does their job, who's going to answer to the Veterans Administration, not you. You guys don't get to decide what any veteran in this county needs.
Would you?
That's
We
not up to
never
would you
have
be
never
willing-
been involved in any of that.
I don't believe you.
Well, I'm sorry you don't believe me. You come in here with your accusations because it's your side. There's two sides to every story.
Right, the truth
And
and your
that's the
side.
important thing that you gotta remember. Krupa Still was told many times over, she was doing an excellent job. And I can tell you how many times. Listen, and Ben heard the conversation last day, he said I disrespected his wife. I told her I wouldn't argue with her on the phone, but I told her I thought she was the best Veterans Director that we ever had here because of the work that she did. And if Ben listened to it, he heard me say that. I'm telling you right now, Krupa Still had a lot of respect here, and we loved her to death, and she's gone because of her decisions, not mine. I
You
can tell
treated her
you,
like crap.
whether these,
If I came in every morning and I kicked you, you're going to keep your job? You're going to stay around? No, you're going to wander off.
So how do we fix this? How
do you fix it?
What if we put a Veterans Affairs team of veterans to hire and direct our Veterans Affairs?
Let the veterans person do their job. Don't come in their office every day and harass them. I didn't say you did, but I know Herb did.
I know.
Because I was sitting in the office one day while she was working on one of my claims when he came in.
Excuse me for 1 minute.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Sorry to interrupt your meeting. We were tied into your virtual meeting. We dialed a phone number. We could hear everything you were saying. I tried to interrupt to get some time to speak.
Maybe the volume wasn't up. I'm
It
sorry.
just wasn't working.
Okay, well, you're here now, so please speak.
You mind if I sit down?
You can do whatever you need. Get him a glass of water or something. I mean,
No, get me a shot of water or something.
I'm John Delaney, and I'm a combat wounded veteran.
thank you for your.
And it is none of your three business, especially Mr. Bowler's, coming into Krupa Steel's office and asking for my records to see if I'm a combat wounded veteran. Why would I say I was a combat wounded veteran? You guys say you're commissioners, but I don't think so. It's none of your business of what I've done in the service or anything. All you had to do was call me, Herb, like you used to, especially about the monument when you told me to take it to the bridge and put it. Now, is there anything else that I want to get off my mind? Yes. Those 36 flags, not 40. I got the receipt for them. I got them from Medals of America. They did not come from the county. this county or any other county. And I am tired of being harassed. I'm going to do my best to see all three of you put out of office your next election. And I thank you very much for nothing.
I have to agree with John. Gentlemen, you're not military. We believe in those records to be absolutely sacred. And if anyone gets into them, we're gonna have to take legal action against you, and that's all there is to it. We will not tolerate that. We're not gonna listen to it. You're not allowed to give that information under HIPAA law to anybody. No one.
That
The only
is a
way you
felony.
get that is to go into the director and say, I need my record. She brings a record, she or he brings a record out, opens a record. And I've not just done this with my bladder cancer. Give her a copy of that, put in it, she puts it back in a file, that's it. Or she directs one of her people, sits as a secretary, to go in and get the file out, and then she comes out or he comes out and looks at it with us. I'm totally against that, and I'll do anything, spend any expense I have to stop that. That's illegal, and it's not fair. That we fought for our country, we deserve the right and the privilege to do that without anybody interfering, and we deserve to get our benefits without anybody smearing it all over the rest. I don't care if you take mine out and show everybody. I'm proud of it. But the fact of it is, that's wrong to do, and that's something I'm really don't like.
So did that happen, Russ?
Yeah, that happened. I can't say here, I cannot say right now in front of this committee or the commissioners how I know or who told me, but it will come out. I can't tell you right now. I'm not privileged to do that. I was advised not to say anything like that, just to tell you that I was dissatisfied with that. But gentlemen, please don't do that. That's really not right. Thank you.
I would never do that, Russ.
Like Russ was referring to there, that is a felony. Anybody that gets in there other than Krupa or her assistant or any director in there, that is a felony. If anybody else goes in and touches those records, open that drawer, you're committing a felony. And we will pursue it.
And we've already checked this out with Veterans Affairs, and I know the Veterans give the county commissioners the job to run the Veterans Affairs. We understand that legal aspect of the whole thing. But still, they say no one. Chris Dust, as a matter of fact, called the Veterans Affairs for me. It was on Thursday of last week, I think, or Friday. No one has a right to get in those files. You gentlemen are the commissioners, and that's fine. But the fact of it is, no one has a right to get in their files without going through the director.
We will be trying to change that to where the commissioners is not in charge of the Veterans Affairs anymore, because we see what's coming out of that. And
Another
that,
thing, can I just one more point?
Sure.
Do you have, is there a representative from the veterans, in other words, like myself or Mr. Deemer or John, that's in here when you interview your director?
So,
Yeah,
as
I was
Herman
one
Connell
time.
will remember, the one that you guys was a little upset about, we had nothing to do until the very end. We let the veteran guys set and do all their stuff. So, some of this stuff is, and Russ, I know you well, Mr. Delaney, I know you very well. Some of this stuff is true and some of it is not true. And John, I will tell you that I asked Krupa about you, but I've asked other people about you. John, you and I have friend, and we'll talk about Poppy, and Poppy used to talk about you. And I have never heard the story about John Delaney. So I think someday, sir, I would like to hear the story because I know you're a Purple Heart man.
You do now since you looked in my records.
Sir, I have never looked in your records.
Well, why
If
did
anybody
you
told
ask for
that?
it?
That is not true.
Why did you ask to look? I don't think Krupa would lie to me. She called me right afterwards. Krupa is a veteran. You people don't understand what a veteran is.
You're absolutely right. I don't.
And you people don't know what a Purple Heart veteran is. I know when we were trying to get to the bridge name down here, the other two commissioners that was in here, and Jeff will tell you, Paul Corbin said to me, well, what's a Purple Heart? Duh. Read your history. That's all I can say.
But you have told me you're a Purple Heart. You've told lots of people you're a Purple. I would like to hear your story, sir. That's what I'd like to hear. There's nothing wrong with that. Is there anything wrong with you telling me things that you've done. I
There's a
don't see
lot
anything
wrong
wrong
with
with it.
that.
I know Dave Farragut, he's told me stories about things. I've heard lots of stories about some of you guys. John Delaney, you and I
I don't
personally
talk
were
about what I
friends.
did in Vietnam or what happened to me in Vietnam.
I'm
It's
Joe
none of the-
Woods, and I'm from Pawnee, Pennsylvania, Jefferson County. I'm a Purple Heart recipient twice. Very seldom I ever talk about it, because did you ever hear post-traumatic stress disorder?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes
That's right.
we have flashbacks and that stuff, and we want to bury it. You know, we want to do good. We want to do good for our community. We want to do good for our area. We want to keep things going. We want to get things resolved. We want a good veterans director in there to help us. Coop has helped a hell of a lot of people. I asked her, I was Commandant of the Marine Corps League, and I asked Cooper to come over and speak for us one night at our Marine Corps ball. She did an excellent job. You people don't know what you have there. And for petty jealousies, it's awful to tear this place apart because of it.
I agree.
Well, I think you should reconsider Krupa Steel. I think you ought to swallow your pride and ask her to come back here if she would. And whether she will or not, I don't know, but I think you ought to man up to it and ask her to return, because there's not going to be anybody else that will take her place that will do the job she was doing.
And I agree on that. Krupa was the best one here since Stover. I have people, I do this for free, what Krupa does to get paid for it. I don't know how many hundreds of veterans I've helped, and I do it on my own. Am I right, Herb?
Yes, you did. Yes.
I can
And
contest that.
I think I even helped Herb, didn't I, Herb?
Yes, you did.
I mean, I'm the.
So, but what I'm saying is, people call me now all the time. What am I going to do? Krupa's not down here. I tell them, go see Leslie Neal or Brittany or Bettina Nicholas in Clearfield, or Leslie Neal in Elk County. What else is she going to do? She can't come down here and talk to you guys. You don't even know what a veteran is.
I will say that she's not gonna come back even if you ask her, not under you. No, absolutely, she's already.
You lost a good thing for the veterans.
It's gone.
She's not in there to work for you people. You people's in there to pay her to work
She will
for
still help
us.
veterans.
She's in there to help us.
I couldn't agree more, and I wanted, I mean.
Well, you're never in your office.
That's not true, John. That is not true. That is not true.
You haven't ever been here when I was here looking for you.
How come I've seen you?
I don't know.
I've seen you here before, so.
And when you fired the other one, I came in and apologized to the commissioners. Did I or did I not? After he was fired, I said, I really didn't know what happened with him. But I found out, and I came in here and I apologized for recommending him. Me and Herb went through all those applications. Herb looked at one, I looked at one. When we were done looking at, I was done looking at mine, Herb passed me his and I passed him mine. We never spoke to neither one of us while this was going on. Then we passed it down the line, and then he was hired. Next thing I know, he was fired. And that's in the past, but this right now is the future. What do the commissioners have planned for a good VA director? What do you have? Who do you have in mind? I know you have something out there. Herb was saying about Friday. Friday was the last day for the applications. Well, Friday, that's 3 days. I mean, think about it. How many days did it take you guys to get your petitions? More than 3 days.
All right, now we're on to the solution, so let's keep going. How do we get a person to represent you what you deserve?
I thought you already hired Dave, his nephew.
That's what we heard.
That's what we heard.
So again, all I can say is.
Well, is it true or not? Yes or no?
Please answer us.
We do want an answer
We want
on
to
that.
get to the bottom
Did
of
you
it.
hire him back?
We want to know if it's nepotism or what is it.
So in our meeting today, what we did was we appointed David Wrights to the position of acting director for the Veterans Affairs.
There's the answer.
There's the answer.
Now, second question, is he your nephew?
Convenient.
Is he
I told
your
you no
nephew?
before. Why do you keep asking me that?
Because I want.
I never knew the man in my life till he came here.
Well, the word on the street is he's your nephew.
The problem is the word on the
Just
street is a
answer.
lot of crap.
So you're
that's
saying
going on
no.
that you don't understand.
Are you saying
Everybody's
no?
making things up.
Are you saying he's not?
How
You
many
want to
times
answer
do I
the
have to
question,
tell
so
you?
he is.
If we
He
get
is.
the right, correct answers all the time, there won't be no crap on the street. If everybody just be honest and instead of being wishy-washy.
So
I never
somebody,
got a phone call.
somebody starts something out there and it goes through the cycle, and of course it's gospel because it's out there. But nobody came, not
And
one
we are here
person.
asking the question and you won't answer it, sir.
What? I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I told you.
Is he your
Dave
nephew?
hired?
Is
How
he
many
your
times have I
family?
said no? How many times?
That's
have
the
I
first
said
time
no?
you said no.
You're just not listening.
To answer your question, John, if I may, he's hired temporarily, just so somebody's in the office answering the phone.
I am worried sick about our
I
veterans.
didn't hear what you said.
I'm sorry.
Dave is hired temporary, so we have that office open so veterans can come and or call. It's only a temporary fix. But as you just said, it's advertised and we'll go through the process like you and her were part of.
Well, there's one thing I want to know, then if he's hired as the acting director, didn't he quit as Krupa's companion in that office? Her backup?
Yeah, he resigned.
And he quit. And now you rehire him? Don't that look kind of funny?
Well, who,
I got
do we
another.
not need somebody in there? There was paperwork that needed handed out. There's phone calls that need to be made. Who am I supposed to call?
I have another thing to add to that. There is a lady up at the courthouse waiting with a group. And she called in about flags for the veterans' graves. And she got a whole bunch of static from Mr. Dave. So, she was really upset about it. And then finally she got to talk to Krupa and got the flags without any hassle. But he was giving her a hard time over the flags. And I mean, that come out of her experience with it. And then Dave's back in there. Now, something is wrong with this. He should not be in there if he wasn't capable the first time. He should not be back in there. I don't know what to tell you. All this problem we've had with VA directors. I don't know how many we went through since Stover was in there. But it can't be the director's fault. It has to be something coming out of this office. And we need to talk to the VA adjutant or somebody to find out if we can get this, Yun's being in charge of the VA director, if we can't get that changed, because it's pretty obvious that you three cannot handle the job. Because you have no experience whatsoever about what the veterans do, what they go through, what they have to put up with. And it can't be, you can't be in charge of veterans. That's obvious.
My commitment is to get a solution that satisfies you guys. It really is.
One other thing, remember, guys, we're the ones that voted you in there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Right.
I know that.
We're the one that put you
an
in there.
election will
Oh,
be.
you're
coming
gonna take care, you're gonna do what's right about our issues, and
I'm
That's
listening,
just step
Russ. I'm here listening to you now, and all of you. Maybe and I'm the chair, so I have to fall on the sword because it's ultimately my responsibility that we didn't take care of the veterans that we needed to. So that's 100% my fault.
Excuse
And
me.
all I want to do is make it right. So tell me what we need to do to make your issues right, and we will do that.
Not to say
We'll give our best
anything,
chance.
not to say anything bad about Dave. I like Dave. Dave's a prior Marine. He's a Marine like myself and Joe. But I've had 3 people call me and tell me that when Dave was the secretary, they screwed up his records. He screwed up their records, I'm sorry. And what should I do? I said, call Krupa. So I told him when they called Krupa to press number 2, and that would be Krupa's phone. And then you talk directly to Krupa. And if she's busy with somebody, then she would call you back, which she always returned calls. That's one thing I can say. You lost the very best one since Stover left.
Yeah, she was on the job 24/7.
You got that
There
right.
wasn't no
Stover.
break for her.
But we agree with you on that. I am sorry that this has worked out the way it has. But there is not one person sitting here that did not think that Krupa Still was an excellent VA. Ben, and I tell you that, and that is the truth. I promise you. I told Krupa many times she did an awesome job. And I still say she was the best VA director that's ever been here. And I told her that
Then why
that
would you
day.
scream and yell at her on the phone and then tone it down and tell her that she's the greatest thing? And then you go back to
I
screaming.
told her I wouldn't
I
argue
can't
with
wait.
her. She wanted to argue, and
No,
I was
she-
not gonna
She asked
argue.
a simple question to you, and you wouldn't answer it. And then you started yelling. I would never talk to her.
How did this
anybody
whole
like that.
deal with Krupa start? That she resigned?
You
She
tell
asked for
us.
somebody, she asked.
Wait, I
Yeah,
wanna-
oh, yeah.
For help.
You tell us.
I don't
I don't
know. That's
know.
why I'm asking you, because I don't know.
I don't know either.
I hear what's out on the street
That's.
that says you guys were agitating her all the time.
There's
You wouldn't let her,
That's out there.
you always wanted her to make sure that you guys knew what she was doing, where she was going and everything else. Well, she's the veterans
You
director.
just said that I got this one. You just said that you didn't know why she resigned. You specifically told her on the phone when she asked you about being in that office for 10 weeks without anybody, and you told her it was her fault.
No,
Yes, you
Yeah.
did.
What I
You
told
said it was
her-
her fault because she can't get along with nobody.
what I told her was, I said, Krupa, we have an issue. We have to get somebody that satisfies her. And the person that she wanted to get the last time, we said no to, and he is in jail. I mean, I'm sorry, but the guy's in jail. He was not gonna fit the bill.
The last guy you had in here was a drunk. So you're telling me that you're
One of the guys,
Excuse
one of
me.
the guys that
Excuse
she
me,
time
gentlemen.
out is me.
Time out, everybody.
That's
Time out.
And y'all turned me away.
We are
Excuse me,
trying to get to the solution of this, and we just keep dragging stuff. through
Our
the
solution
line.
is don't advertise until Friday. Our solution is let some people in the county, the veterans in the county, come in here. Not somebody from Pittsburgh that they want in here or something, from Jefferson County. A veteran, a good one. You don't know how many hundreds of them there is out there, apparently. But the thing about it is, let them all read your advertisement. Put in there how much it's going to be paid.
Qualifications.
And bring a good resume. And make sure that they're a honorable discharge on their DD 214.
Make sure there's veterans in while you're interviewing her.
Absolutely.
So
Thank you.
One more time and three.
When-
Can I give her the floor?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. McConnell, you have the floor.
Gentlemen, I have something that really doesn't have to do with veterans. I'm sorry for this, but you have an uneven piece of pavement in front of the courthouse. I'm a victim of that. If you can see, I have a black eye now because it went head first in there. So whatever you do about that, you do.
Wait,
When I
Wait,
talked,
there's a pavement, we need to fix the pavement over the.
yeah, there's two parts, okay? There's the bricks and then there's a piece of concrete that isn't even. I stepped into that and that's how I fell.
Okay.
No,
Are you okay?
I'm not gonna sue you. I'm here, I'm talking, yeah, I'm okay. Gentlemen, I talked to at least one of you. And I talked to a lot of the gentlemen behind me about what the purpose of us coming here was.
I don't know, maybe you should.
You've heard from people about the emotional part of that. I'm not here to talk about the past, except to say, was I disappointed when Krupa left? The answer is yes. I had perfect confidence in her. She talked to us personally. She came to our meetings. I can't testify to what she did as far as her handling claims, but from what the feedback I got, she was pretty good at it. Probably one of the best. That's past. Can't do anything about that now. Unless, like you said,
Take you down.
and it was said that she's not coming back. So that's a past thing, okay? It's done. What we need to do is look at what's in the future. And I do have to say, when I saw this posting for the Veterans Affairs Director, I was disappointed. I was given the impression that we would be more involved. We would be better able to communicate. We would be better able to do things the way they should be done. I'm not telling you how to do your job. You have your own personnel program. You have a way that you deal with your personnel. Fine. But putting this out like this and having just that period of time, to tell you the truth, it makes it suspect. And I don't know Dave. I don't know, okay? He's there. So naturally, whenever you put this short and he's put in, people draw conclusions that they shouldn't draw. Once again, it gets to be a rumor. And we've had enough of that. Enough of rumors, enough accusations, enough of everything. That's not going to solve our problem. Not going to do it. The only question I have about Dave, is he a certified VSO?
I believe the answer is no.
No, he's not.
Okay, so he's not more qualified than John or anybody else sitting in this room. Okay. So he can't forward a claim.
I am certified.
I know that. I know that, John. John is certified. But he can't forward a claim. He can't process paperwork. The most he could do is answer the phone and take notes and refer them to a qualified VSO officer, because he should not have access to the records. Period. That's all I'll say about that. As I said, when this first started, we have a group that meets on Thursday mornings for coffee. We used to meet in Heritage House. The Heritage House is closed. We now go to the picnic area to the left of the Heritage House and talk about it there. This is where I got involved with those people. They asked me to speak. So we have about 31 people down where the flags are at the county courthouse listening to this. We could hear you. I dialed in the phone number and dialed into contact. And I was told I would be able to talk on the phone and you would hear me. Didn't happen. I'm not 19 anymore, but I got here as quickly as I could. The Veterans Affairs Director is such a key person. And I don't know that we have any better judgment, but we do have more experience in what veterans go through. There are many people behind me and me myself who have go through things that we just don't talk about. I didn't mention I was a Vietnam veteran until it took me 30 years. I didn't put it on my resume because at that time, when I came back in 1973, people weren't happy to see me. I was not considered a good person. I was a baby killer. I was whatever. I got spit on in a subway before I even went to Vietnam because I wore a uniform. That's my experience. That's why it's very important to me and to the others back here to get someone who actually knows what a veteran service officer is supposed to do and what they're about. And that takes someone to go to training, get the training, and act and do the VSO job. I know that takes time. But I still will reiterate that I would hope that you could revise the announcement of the position and give it a little more time. If you want someone to sit in on interviews, I've done it before with you guys, not with all of you, with some of you. And
I would too.
Mr. Pasarchik, I've been through that. You guys were very, very positive in doing that, and I sincerely appreciate it. So there are things that you and your predecessors have done correctly. Most of the time, I have come to you directly about anything that I thought was wrong and talked to you personally here in the office, not by phone or anything else. That doesn't make me better than the people that spoke today. It just means that I did it differently. So we would like to see that happen. If that's part of what you can do, I would appreciate that. The second part of it is, I understand that people who are calling Krupa and other people, they have been referred to Elk County VSO, and what was the other one, John?
Bettina Nicholas and Clary.
Bettina
Or
Nicholas and
Clearfield.
Clearfield. So we do have a resource where we can send people so that they can get that. There are also service officers employed by the department, the VFW,
Oh, yeah.
the Legion, the Disabled Veterans Association, which I'm proud to say that I'm a life member of the VFW, I'm a member of the Legion, and I'm a life member of the DEA. But those resources are out there if you know where to go. So it isn't a closed door just because we need someone in that office perhaps to receive that information that someone needs to make a claim. But we need then somebody to refer that to a certified VSO, period. When you make a claim, you give whatever organization that you want to represent you a power of attorney.
Right.
That's the only way they have access to our records. Only way. Only way. Okay. I guess what I'm saying, and I'm saying it for the people that I said I would talk for, we would just like to see going forward that we have better communication and cooperation between us. Better. I'm not saying it was all bad. I can't say that because I've had some very good conversations and some very good results. But it just seems that lately it hasn't been there. So that's what I'm asking for. Do I have a perfect solution to who should be the veteran service officer? No, I don't. I don't. Can I review applications and those types of things and look at the paperwork and scan those the same as you can? Yes, but from a different perspective, perhaps. Okay? Now, there's not much else I can say about this position. I think you get the idea of what we're looking for. If we can help you look for that, fine. But we know that regardless of how we feel about you being in control of the VA Veterans Affairs Director's office here, it is a county function. So you got the job whether you want it or not. Now, the other thing that I want to talk to you about is, and I'll read exactly what Mr. Bartley gave me because I believe he was the one that was involved in making the agreement to have the World War II monument erected. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. He has questions about the Jefferson County Memorial for those county citizens killed in action during World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Gulf Wars, and the Cold War. This was presented to the Board of Commissioners as a 3-year project. The first year to raise the marker for the county residents who were killed in action during World War II. The second year was a marker for those who were killed in action during Korea and Vietnam. The third marker was for those killed in the Gulf War and the Cold War. We appreciate you funding the first stone, no question about that. I have nothing bad to say about that. It was done well. What his concern, and I don't know this, I just know this from what he's written, is that the money was supposedly taken from the Marcellus Shale Legacy Fund. Now, it's just like you're saying. There's all kinds of talk out there about you guys as commissioners not honoring that supposed thing that you said you would do. I don't know if that's correct. What I would ask is that if you are going to support this, and if there is money in the Marcellus Shale program, would you please make it in the form of a motion and commit to it? I would appreciate that.
So I think I should be the guy first to speak on that.
Okay, Herb.
When Randy and I discussed that,
Mhm.
we had a little bit of a conversation, but what I had indicated to Randy was because of this COVID, we had spent a lot of money and we wasn't sure. And I suggested to him if there was other avenues of money for them to do that. Did I indicate we would never? It was not intended that way. But at the time, and I think everybody sitting in this room understands, the county has incurred a lot of expenses because of things that's taken place here. And this has been a month and a half probably since this was Randy.
Very good, back to.
It's back, but
Mark?
you know, I can't honestly, and I think we're all three in favor of doing exactly what we want to do. It was the issue with the money at the time, and that's how that got waylaid, postponed, whatever you want to say, because there was a discussion just the other day that if the money is there, we intend on doing it. So I don't think there's.
Can we make that motion?
Yeah, so
Make a motion, we fund the, go ahead. I interrupted.
And I spoke with Randy yesterday, Herb.
Sure.
And I think there was a misunderstanding, him and I spoke about it. But Herb's right, that's funded not by the legacy money, but the Marcellus gas.
Okay,
So
whatever it's called, I have
It's kind of all the
Marcellus,
same thing, but
Okay,
there's certain things. that
and I
you
assume that
spend.
they are buttonholed by some type of regulation that you can spend it for this,
By
for
the
that.
PUC, yes.
Okay,
So
I guess my question would be to that, Mr. Sargent, is there money still there?
there is money there now, yes. But we wanted to make sure that at the time, and I want to say it came in earlier in the year, February.
I
And I'm
understand
guessing-
COVID-19, okay, I really do. But again, if you feel that you
Sure.
can.
But it was only put on hold. There wasn't, to my
Sure.
knowledge, a no.
That's why I'm here,
No.
because there are all kinds of stories out there, gentlemen, as you say. I don't deal with rumors. It's a bunch of malarkey.
Sure.
If I have a person coming to me with a complaint, you're gonna hear about it from me, not from anybody else, from me. And that's not to say these guys won't do the same thing, because I know a number of them would march in here and not have any problem telling you.
Sure.
I think you've seen that today. But once again, I'd like to go forward with a positive attitude and not a negative attitude. We have had 5 directors since Richard Stover retired. That doesn't speak well for directors, and in some instance, as you said, Jack, you're taking responsibility, and I appreciate that. It doesn't speak well with how we manage things here with Veterans Affairs. I'm sure there's a personnel process that you go through. I'm sure that personnel process is documented. I'm sure that there is some type of recommended process for improvement in your job if you're not fulfilling the job the way you should. That's all I'll say about that. Let's get back to the monument. I don't know how you want to word your motion, if you're going to make one. We would like to see a firm commitment. And if for some reason there isn't enough funding to put the next one up, I think I can speak for everybody back here. We'll do our best to help you make that happen. But I still would like to hear, I would still like to hear the motion, Tom. I really would. It does away with all of the innuendo and all that stuff.
I'd like to make a motion to fully fund the next phase of the Veterans Memorial in the courthouse courtyard.
Thank you.
So
I'll second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead.
We bought an $8,400 stone, no cost to the commissioners, the county, the other Veterans Affairs, and you're gonna pay for one when we were gonna put one in and got turned down? I think that is terrible. Reynoldsville's getting it now. The one that we were gonna put is at Clearfield. We were gonna do one in every county at no cost to any of the taxpayers.
I might be way wrong on this, but the way it was delivered to me, the way I understand how the rules of that courtyard over there is the major veteran service organizations make the decisions over there and the commissioners.
That's right. Excuse me, but I gave Mr. Pasarchik every letter from all the American Legions and VFWs in the county except for his and Littlefield's.
Okay.
And Then it come back somehow. Herbie called me and said, well, I got some bad news. They want you to put it at the bridge. In the flood zone to boot. What is this? A Purple Heart. Every name that's on them walls up there, that's on them stones that are killed, they get the Purple Heart. We get the Purple Heart because we gave our blood too. We just didn't die. But you people are now going to commit to the funds that they gave to the county to put another monument up there when you turned ours down. We are a military organization, Congress approved, just like the VFW and American Legion and the Marine Corps League and everything else. And I don't think that that is proper. I really think that you should recommend not doing that.
Thank you for your comments, John.
I would like to make a comment about that.
Sure.
First of all, the monuments that are up there do not just represent Purple Heart recipients. The people that have died, unfortunately, posthumously get a Purple Heart. I'll say that for myself, everybody represented. I also thought that the monument should match what's up there and everybody's name could be put on it, not just a few or whatever. So that's why I stand behind the monument as it is, and so that it looks consistent with what we have up there now. Thank you.
I don't, because the names up there, the ones that's KIA, did get a Purple Heart. I'm not saying this because I have a Purple Heart, just the same way as the bridge down there. I wanted that bridge to be named the Jefferson County Memorial Bridge, the Purple Heart of Memorial Bridge of Jefferson County. And that's what they got. And that up there does not have anybody's names on whatsoever. It just says, my stone is red for the blood they shed. They, not I. And that's all I have. You take your conclusions, but I am all 100% against any funds coming into from Marcellus Shale or wherever it comes from, donating it for a monument when there's other things in the county that's more needed. We have bridges, we have roads, we have townships. You can give the money to somebody, but I am all against putting another stone up there. And I'm not against having the stone up there. Let them go out and raise their own money. That's what we do. Those stones cost us $8,400 to get made and to have put in. But we didn't ask nobody for money and nobody gave us money. We didn't come to you people and say, look, we need the money. We want to know about this. The Purple Heart does more for the veterans than any other military organization that I can say. The Purple Heart takes the veterans on trips. They give them picnics. They do everything for the veterans. And that's what they got out of it. You guys saying you're going to put a stone up there and fund it. I don't think that's proper. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Anyone else? Well, I guess closing thoughts from me. Obviously,
Excuse me, are you going to vote on the motion you made?
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that part. Call for a vote, please.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes. So, I failed. Obviously the veterans are in here and they're upset with things that are perceived or not. I'm in a conundrum because what I'm trying to do, I saw all the bad things that were said about me that were untrue, and I bit my tongue and turned the other cheek. And the easy thing to do would be to throw other people under the bus to restore my name, and I'm not doing that. I'm not. That's not who I am. If you guys, if you want to take the time to meet me and know me, Ben, I'm sorry that your wife perceived that I was harassing her. I was just trying to defend myself. I mean, I just felt like I was being attacked from all sides for no reason, because in the end, I know who I am. I know what I stand for, and I've had both my grandfathers were veterans. I've had lots of influential veterans, and I can never sympathize with, I cannot relate to what you went through. I can't, and I know that. And veterans I've had nothing but respect, and for me to let them down really does tear a whole lot of me, because I know what you do for our country. I know the sacrifices you make. I know all the time that you spend around your family, and we failed by getting you the services you deserve. But my commitment is real. My commitment is to help. My commitment is to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. And I will work with anybody on this issue to try to get the best solution that we can. And if we fail again, I'll be the first person there to try to fix it again. Personnel is very, very difficult. There's personality issues that come into play. I do my best that I can manage them, and my commitment to you is to do my best again. That's all I can do. But I know who I am. I know what I believe in. I believe in our veterans, and the fact that you guys are angry with me right now kills me a little bit, because I know what I did and I know what I didn't do. So.
Just one closing comment, if I could, please.
Sure.
Thank you for your attention in this matter. Thank you for having us here. We appreciate participating. We appreciate you listening, because you did listen to a lot of things, and not all of them were easy to listen to. So I thank you for that too. So from my end of it, and from the guys that asked me to speak here, that's the way they look at it too. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.
Yeah, anything else?
Are there refreshments?
I mean, there's a lot of things going on in the world. The only thing I ask, just take 1 second to pause and love one another instead of hate one another.
Amen to that.
We need that more than anything. So.
Can I give you a hug?
I don't think we're allowed.
Oh, I don't know. That's a personal situation there, Jack. I'm going to keep it to that.
Without anything else, can we close the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second. Any discussion? Please call for a vote.
Mr. Manson?
Yes.
Mr. Woolard?
Yeah.